My stepsister just texted me, "Hey, why aren't we close like we were when we were kids?" So I had to remind her of how badly we ripped each other apart with insults for our whole lives before I moved out. My mom passed away when I, 21 was 6, and my dad remarried when I was 9. The women he married had a daughter 1 year younger than me, so she was 8. At first I loved having a new mom. She wasn't the best and will never replace my real mom, but I appreciate her trying to be there for me, and I am pretty close with her and my dad. At first I loved having a sister and we got along great. I loved having a playmate during vacations and always having a play or two. The problems really started to amp up when I was 13 and she was 12. It seemed like no matter what I did went unpunished in her eyes, and she had to mock me constantly. Being a hot-headed 13-year-old usually meant to retaliate, and we would have those long screaming matches till either of our parents told us to knock it off or they would send up to different parts of the house to cool off. I also started playing football in high school, and my problem was that I was constantly getting injured. In 8 years, 11 to 18, I broke my arm, pinky, wrist, got 2 concussions, tore my ACL, sprained my MCL and dislocated my shoulder. On top of all that, I was kinda chubby. I don't want to say I was fat. I was about 180 to 210 from the ages of 14 to 18 at 6'2". She used to make fun of me for my injuries and my weight, which were very touchy subjects for me. Her favorite insult was, "You fat cripple loser." Or maybe, "If you lost some weight you wouldn't get injured so often." Back then those insults really pissed me off, but I kept trying to be the older brother and just told her to shut up, fight back or storm off. She also loved to embarrass me when friends were over by bringing up dumb stuff I did when I was like 9 or 10. My friends are great people, but we tease each other a lot and would usually remember anything embarrassing we did and bring it up later. So whatever she said to them would always get back. I did talk with her if she could just shut up when I have my friends over, and she basically told me to F off and that it's her house too. At this point in my life, 16, I am super pissed at how crappy she has treated me over the years. I know I caused some and usually fought back when she got snippy and bratty at me, but to me she started more fights than I did. I did try to talk to my dad and stepmom about the way me and her treat each other, and they basically said it's normal sibling rivalry. Her antics got a lot worse and her words got more and more mean-filled and vile, which meant I would retaliate with just as mean and vile-filled insults. I will not sit here and say I wasn't just as mean to her as she was to me. I used to bully her relentlessly for these hair buns she would wear from 13 to 14. If you want a picture, just look up the buns Leia wore from Star Wars. I also told her plenty of times that I hate her and don't consider her family. I have apologized so much for those two, cause I do feel bad. Even though she hasn't apologized, I know she feels bad too. I bet there were some other moments, but they didn't happen to me, so I probably forgot them. I moved out when I was 18 without ever sending her a text message goodbye or even telling her I was moving out. The past 5 years of unpleasantness between us made me happy that I didn't have to see her. A year later she moves out and I still resented her for how we treated each other. We go almost 2 years without speaking other than on holidays, and that's really only dry stuff, nothing big. I am now 21 and she's 20, and I got a text the other night asking why we aren't close like we were when we were kids. I basically said I don't care to get along with you or get close because of how we treated each other as kids. She told me to grow up, and not even an hour later I get a call from my dad asking why I have so much hate for my sister years since we have lived together. I told him he'll be cordial and won't cut her out of my life, but I don't need or want to be close with her. How do I go about telling her that I don't want us to be close yet, until we both want to be close, but leaving the door open for her not to resent me, and we can still love each other? Update. After our text convo that led to my dad calling me asking what's wrong between us, I texted her about a meet-up at my place. This was the first time we actually met/hung out outside of a family gathering. Before she came over, that realization gave me a new look on our relationship. The whole sit-down went well, we actually got along and there wasn't any name-calling or anything mean. We talked about how we treated each other, and this was the first time I've ever heard her apologize for how she treated me growing up, and I did the same. We talked about how the text convo went, and I came to the conclusion that I still had the old image of how she was when I last saw her at 17 and was using that to picture her now. She still kinda acts the same, kinda moody, but can hold it in so much better now, but it's a lot better. We talked it out and spent about half the day together just hanging out, and I will admit I enjoyed it. I don't think we will be super duper close, but it's a step in the right direction and there isn't a wall of tension between us anymore. Thank you all for the advice and comments, it really came in handy and I appreciate it.